Okay, so I decided it's a late night and I figured I might as well do something like a night light, looking over the cars and stuff and have a little talk. I'm Michael Mechanical, and this here is the Pajero diesel that we have, ND&L parts, that's what it uses. And this was built in 1987 with the 4056T. I believe it was an A40 transmission is in it, or at least that's what I can remember. And we had problems with this. So what I wanted to do today was talk a little bit about this car, and just in case there's an update and anyone's wondering, the Triton's on this side here, engine's been removed and stuff's happening with that slowly. So what I'm going to do, open the cab, pop the hood. We got some good news, we got some bad news. The good news is there's the Pajero workshop manual. I'll call that the good news. No, but the good news is today we had a specialist come out to have a look at the car again. This is the second time he's been out, and the reason he's come out for the second time is because we've had some issues with kickdown, and he got to test drive this, he got to feel how it goes, he got to see some weird stuff happening with it, and since that he's had his assessment, he's made all the adjustments he can, and now he's happy and confident in us driving this to his workshop. So here we have, I gotta put the light in a nice spot. Here we have what's called the kickdown cable. And we also have our throttle cable right here. I don't know how well you can see what I'm looking at. But this is the kickdown cable and this is the throttle cable. So when I do this, it activates the kickdown. So what's happening is, when I'm driving this as it was before, it was actually about 1mm improved now. But before, when I was driving this, what was happening with the adjustment that I put onto it, the closest I could get it in spec and whatnot, the car would kick down exactly like that, but it was a much lower RPM. It was kicking down at about 2200 RPM, and it was just annoying because I was trying to get the gears to go up and it wasn't going up, it was going down. And because I want to increase my speed, it was just impossible to increase my speed. So, in case I'm hicking up or something, so we made all the adjustments we could. We put it together as best as we could. We've driven this. We've got new tires on it. And now the specialist, he came out today to have a double check at this. I've told him I've had this at both ends of adjustment. So when I originally started, these two bolts were at this end of the adjustment, and this was really, really tight. Okay, that was bad. That was the reason why it was kicking down at about 2200 RPMs. We don't want it kicking down unless we're hitting the foot to the floor. That's the only time we want it to do it. That's making it happen too early. So the second time that I adjusted this, I put the nuts to roughly where they are now, but a little bit more that way. And it was by millimeter that we've improved it today. And with the cable on, it just felt very, very held back. And I just couldn't move the car the way I would expect to drive it. And it didn't really feel like I could drive it as it was. I ended up taking the cable completely off, knowing that was holding it back, and drove it like that, and it worked a lot better. Except it was still not good. So he comes out today, he drove it around the block a couple of times. The first time he saw the exact problem we had, and it was a pain in the butt to get it to shift up, but it is possible to shift it up. We came home, we made a millimeter of adjustment here. We can't really go much further than it already is. It's pretty much at the limit. It is at the limit. So there's no adjustment left in that. So we've gone to the limit now. It can't be adjusted anymore. And we discussed some things today. Okay, cool. He's adjusted it. We took it for another test drive. At the end of the journey, I didn't even realize this, but he's like, did you notice it didn't actually kick down once that time we went around the block? And I actually was like, oh wow, actually I wasn't paying enough attention. I didn't notice. No, I didn't know. So this didn't kick down once while we went around the block, which is probably a good thing that it didn't kick down. That's a good sign. But we're still not quite there yet. This is still out of adjustment. And the reason being is it doesn't shift quite right. When you're putting your foot down on the power, on the pedal, it's not putting enough pressure on those clutches that it's engaging correctly. It's not engaging correctly and well enough that it's long-term driving not good. Probably not good at all. For short-term, it'll be fine. He wants me, tomorrow morning, I'm going to be taking this car. This will not be here for a couple of days, maybe a week, maybe two. I have no idea. This whole car is going to the workshop. Not our workshop, his workshop, for him to get his guys to look at it. And what they're going to do is they're going to take the sump, drop the sump off of the transmission. They're going to replace the cable, or that's what we talked about. They were asking, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to put on a shackle here and make it extend further, or do you want to put in a new cable? I suggested new cable, and the reason I'll point out new cable-wise is here, it fell apart. And it was re-crimped, but it didn't work the first time. Re-crimped it again, it's held up. But this could still potentially fall out again because it's metal on metal. It was originally probably metal on plastic, but the crimp failed and the plastic's broken. It wasn't any good. This is the same cable they reused when they rebuilt the transmission, but because it's out of spec based on the manual, I'm not happy about that, and I want to do things properly. I said, look, the spec for the cable at this point, it should be 34 to 35 millimeters. I'm only getting 31 out of it, and that's not good. So they're like, okay, well, we'll try to get you a new cable then. Otherwise, they might end up doing something completely different. I have no idea what they're going to do exactly, but that's my assumption. They're not going to do something different. They're going to do what I said because we've got the manual in the car. We told them exactly what the measurements. We pointed out where it's been measured from, how it's been measured, and everything. And the manuals are in the car. So if they have any concerns whatsoever about what I'm going on about, they can refer to the service manual, the genuine Mitsubishi service manual. I'm happy with what I've done. I've done the best I can with this. I'm happy. I hate one thing though, and it's not about this. It's not about this at all. Actually, no, there's a few things I hate about it. This is actually not a perfect build. Now, if I wanted a perfect build, the few things that I would do differently, and I've still got a chance to fix one mistake. There's only one mistake with it currently. My Triton motor, I made one mistake when putting it together. Otherwise, there's two mistakes, but I'm going to stick with the one mistake, because the one mistake is I didn't replace a certain part, and that's the one of the connecting rod bearings. That's the one for the pin to the piston. The same thing is what we did here, but you couldn't buy the parts the way we were originally buying them, and I didn't know what to call them, and then I found out, oh yeah, you can actually buy the bearings. And I was like, oh shit. So now I've got an opportunity to make up my decision on my motor. This one's Dad's. This is built the way he wanted to have it built. So it's cost effective. It didn't cost as much as mine did. It's not perfect, and it might need a new turbo and a rebuilt injection pump just to make sure it's all healthy and good in order to avoid any catastrophic damage, to make sure this is going to last. And hopefully when this comes back I can drive it and it will be good. There is still some other issues with the whole car, like suspension wise, it's not perfect, it's not pretty. I reckon it has a narrower wheelbase than the Triton does, because the Triton is pretty solid on the road, very solid on the road. Whereas this thing here, the whole car's like this. It's like a cushion, but it's leaf spring rear end, it's torsion bar front end. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of water. Oh, that is a lot of water here. Yeah, I don't want to leave anything metal on the ground itself in the water submerged. But I got my structures there. Yeah, but the car has done about 20 kilometers since it's been on the road now, I believe. And we're going to just take a look at the tacho. 31.6 kilometers, I guess that was today. We got it up to that height. My phone that I've got in here is because the radio does not have, special things that I'd like it to have. It has a light button, I believe, here. That's the lights button. And the reason... Wait. Okay, that's what it was. The reason it has the phone in the car is because I really need to put a new radio or something in here so we can listen to the radio. This car will not be here tomorrow. It's I got to drive it tomorrow and get it out of here and get it to the proper specialist repair shop. It could probably be done here, but they're the specialists and they're the ones that built the transmission, so it's fine. It can go there and they can do the work and get it all sorted out for us, because they need to do all the adjustments, make sure everything's okay. It's easier to do it on a hoist. This thing here is so low to the ground. I'm going to point it out here now. This thing is so low to the ground, you can see it's about maybe within 30 centimeters. You look at my car, my God, there's miles of room under there. You can crawl under there and roll around underneath my car. This car, no way in hell are you going to do that. Mate, I have to get out, I have to get in, and it's just so much work. Just doing the torsion bars on this alone was a nightmare and a half because of how tight it is. It's so tight under there. Oh my God, I'm actually glad I managed to get the job done that I was able to get done. But I didn't go under there again. I think what I'm going to do is write up a little document and say a few things that I want to get done while it's on the hoist. Just so I can get them to do the things. Number one is the driver's side torsion bar. I want to see if they can get it, tighten it up a little bit for me, because it was exhausting to get under the car and just do that one torsion bar. I was so tired, I couldn't even tighten that bolt anymore. It was just too much effort. And the other side I was able to just barely do. So if I can give it to them and let them tighten it up, it's not like you're laying on your back and you're trying to pull it. It's them getting under the hoist. I wonder if that's a new crack. My brain's somewhere else at the moment, looking at a crack in the ceiling. But yeah, that there, the other torsion bar was hard work, because when you're trying to pull it, you're pulling it and you don't really feel like you have power. You're not putting weight on it. You can't put weight on it. Whereas if you're standing up, you can put your weight on it when you're turning the bar to tighten it. Whereas when you're on your back and you try and tighten something, you're literally using all your upper body power just to tighten things, and it is quite an exhausting task. I think I should leave it at that for the Pajero update sort of video. I'm not doing a series on the Pajero because it's not my vehicle personally. It's Dad's vehicle. I'm just going to be using it. And I mean, I did try to do some stuff with it. OHS wise, it probably wasn't a great idea with the things that I was doing. And I don't really have the money to spend on his car. I'm standing on these boxes. But you can see the roof is still filthy and still not finished. It probably won't get done properly. And because Dad's not spending the money on paint and stuff, I'm going to let him worry about that car. However, with this car, this is going to have actual money spent on it to do a lot of things. And because it's going to stay in my ownership for many, many years, definitely many years, I'm just looking at some things. And there's oil in some spots. Because I plan on keeping this in my ownership for many, many years. People want to buy it off me. It's like, I like it for a couple of different reasons. One, when people actually try to be smart asses to me and think they're going to pay me $1,000 for this car, it's just hilarious because they don't realize how much actually goes into it and what it's actually worth. They just want to try and buy it off you real quick. And if you don't just sell it to them, then that's easy. You get to keep it and you get to have a little laugh on the side. So it'll be funny when people come up to you and be like, I'll give you $1,000 for it. We might be getting some new injection tubing, plumbing. He came out today when he was we're talking about the brackets, these brackets. He said, oh, you should just use your original ones. And I just said, well, I didn't have any. And then he's like, oh, okay then. I think, oh, and they're not that expensive. They're about, $4 or $5 each or something. I don't know. And I was like, oh well. I still have, I have the other one of these I'm going to get cleaned up. I think I'll just leave this one as it is. I could convert it, but I'll get some more paint, proper paint. I think I'll get some more heavy duty paint because that paint is too runny. It's chips off too easily. It's not the greatest paint. Unfortunately, the thing you learn when you're using different products is the quality of stuff. But I will admit, we might end up getting a new accelerator cable just because the original one off of this car is actually different to the Pajero one. I think that's a Pajero, is it? I'm not sure if this one is the Pajero or the other one's the Pajero. Looking at this end, that looks like the Pajero one. I bet you this one here, if anything, this one here I'm holding in my hand is mine. This is actually the original of my car, whereas the other one's Pajero. The reason I knew that is because it had a plastic thingy at the end, and I broke it. And it doesn't work anymore. But the biggest reason I'm going to replace the cable is just because it's got stuck when I was driving it once. I tried to go up my Nana and Pops. They're now selling their property. It's pretty much under cool-down period, apparently, from them talking to my brother. So I think good on them. At the same time, I'm going to miss that place. Maybe one day I'll buy it myself. But we'll see. I think I should really leave it at that. This is not a Triton video, this is a Pajero Turbo Wagon video, and it's not meant to be going into any detail about the Triton. It shouldn't be going into detail about the Triton. I'm just making some points. I might do a Triton video straight after this just to be fun, just so there's something there on the channel. I have a video coming for the Triton, and that's what I think we'll talk about in the next video. This is the Pajero update video. This thing is driving. This thing is on the road. And it's Dad's car, so he'll be the one eventually driving it. I'm just going to break it in, and while my car is getting fully overhauled, my car, I own it, I pay for the rego, pay for the insurance, pay for everything on it. When my car's fully overhauled and back on the road again, this is what Dad's going to end up driving. This thing, and I have to make sure that when he gets it in his hands, this thing doesn't break down. Because he doesn't like breaking down. He hates breaking down, and if this thing can hold up for him, he's going to enjoy it. And because we put the effort into it, a lot of effort into it, a lot of money into it, and some, perspectives, I think there's about $7,000 in this car, I think, worth in work and money, in parts and labour. Maybe even more in labour though, because we didn't include all the labour. We just included the labour for the transmission, not the engine. I never got paid for my time. But my time would have been worth something with the engine. So thank you all for watching, thanks for joining in. We have some more work I've got to get done on it. Those mirrors are freaking weirdos, and twisting his eyes apparently. But anyway, I got to end this video because I'll just keep rambling on for this video, and I think I should save that energy for the next video I do, making a video on the Triton and talking about some content with that. So anyway, thank you very much everyone. This is Michael Mechanical, signing out.